The Tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. The Prologue. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which, but their children's end, naught could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage, the which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Scene 1. A public place. Enter Samson and Gregory, armed with swords and bucklers. Samson: Gregory, on my word, will not carry coals. Gregory: No, for then we should be colliers. Samson: I mean, if we be in color, we'll draw. Gregory: Aye, while you live, draw your neck out of the collar. Samson: I strike quickly, being moved. Gregory: But thou art not quickly moved to strike. Samson: A dog of the house of Montague moves me. Gregory: To move is to stir, and to be valiant is to stand. Therefore, if thou art moved, thou runst away. Samson: A dog of that house shall move me to stand. I will take the wall of any man or maid of Montague's. Gregory: That shows thee a weak slave, for the weakest goes to the wall. Samson: True, and therefore women, being the weaker vessels, are ever thrust to the wall. Therefore I will push Montague's men from the wall, and thrust his maids to the wall. Gregory: The quarrel is between our masters and us their men. Samson: 'Tis all one. I will show myself a tyrant when I have fought with the men. I will be civil with the maids. I will cut off their heads. Gregory: The heads of the maids? Samson: Aye, the heads of the maids, or their maidenheads, take it in what sense thou wilt. Gregory: They must take it in sense that feel it. Samson: Me they shall feel while I am able to stand, and 'tis known I am a pretty piece of flesh. Gregory: 'Tis well thou art not fish. If thou hadst been poor John. Draw thy tool. Here comes of the house of Montagues. Enter Abram and Balthasar. Samson: My naked weapon is out. Quarrel, I will back thee. Gregory: How? Turn thy back and run? Samson: Fear me not. Gregory: No, marry, I fear thee. Samson: Let us take the law of our sides. Let them begin. Gregory: I will frown as I pass by, and let them take it as they list. Samson: Nay, as they dare. I will bite my thumb at them, which is disgrace to them if they bear it. Abram: Do you bite your thumb at us, sir? Samson: I do bite my thumb, sir. Abram: Do you bite your thumb at us, sir? Samson: Is the law of our side if I say aye? Gregory: No. Samson: No, sir, I do not bite my thumb at you, sir, but I bite my thumb, sir. Gregory: Do you quarrel, sir? Abram: Quarrel, sir. No, sir. Samson: But if you do, sir, I am for you. I serve as good a man as you. Abram: No better. Samson: Well, sir. Enter Benvolio. Gregory: Say better. Here comes one of my master's kinsmen. Samson: Yes, better, sir. Abram: You lie. Samson: Draw, if you be men. Gregory: Remember thy washing blow. Benvolio: Part fools, put up your swords. You know not what you do. Beats down their swords. Enter Tybalt. Tybalt. What, art thou drawn among these heartless hinds? Turn thee, Benvolio, look upon thy death. Benvolio: I do but keep the peace. Put up thy sword, or manage it to part these men with me. Tybalt: What, drawn and talk of peace? I hate the word, as I hate hell, all Montagues, and thee have it thee, coward. Enter 3 or 4 citizens with clubs, bills, and partisans. Strike, beat them down. Down with the Capulets, down with the Montagues. Enter Capulet in his gown, and Lady Capulet. Capulet. What noise is this? Give me my long sword, ho. Lady Capulet. A crutch, a crutch. Why call you for a sword? Capulet. My sword, I say. Old Montague is come, and flourishes his blade in spite of me. Enter Montague and his Lady Montague. Montague. Thou villain Capulet, hold me not, let me go. Lady Montague, thou shalt not stir 1 foot to seek a foe. Enter Prince Escalus with attendants. Prince. Rebellious subjects, enemies to peace, profaners of this neighbor, stained steel, will they not hear? What, ho! You men, you beasts, that quench the fire of your pernicious rage with purple fountains issuing from your veins, on pain of torture from those bloody hands throw your mistempered weapons to the ground, and hear the sentence of your moved prince. 3 civil brawls bred of an airy word, by thee, old Capulet, and Montague, have thrice disturbed the quiet of our streets, and made Verona's ancient citizens cast by their grave the seeming ornaments, to wield old partisans in hands as old, cankered with peace, to part your cankered hate. If ever you disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the peace. For this time all the rest depart away. You, Capulet, shall go along with me, and Montague, come you this afternoon, to know our farther pleasure in this case, to old Free Town, our common judgment place. Once more, on pain of death, all men depart. Montague, who set this ancient quarrel new abroach? Speak, nephew, were you by when it began? Benvolio. Here were the servants of your adversary, and yours close fighting ere I did approach. I drew to part them. In the instant came the fiery Tybalt with his sword prepared, which, as he breathed defiance to my ears, he swung about his head and cut the winds, who nothing hurt withal, hissed him in scorn. While we were interchanging thrusts and blows, came more, and fought on part and part, till the prince came, who parted either part. Lady Montague. Oh, where is Romeo? Saw you him today? Right glad I am he was not at this fray. Benvolio. Madam, an hour before the worshipped sun peered forth the golden window of the east, a troubled mind drave me to walk abroad, where underneath the grove of sycamore that westward rooteth from this city side, so early walking did I see your son. Towards him I made, but he was ware of me, and stole into the covert of the wood. I, measuring his affections by my own, which then most sought where most might not be found, being one too many by my weary self, pursued my humor, not pursuing his, and gladly shunned who gladly fled from me. Montague. Many a morning hath he there been seen, with tears augmenting the fresh morning's dew, adding to clouds more clouds with his deep sighs, but all so soon as the all-cheering sun should in the farthest east begin to draw. The shady curtains from Aurora's bed away from light steals home my heavy son, and private in his chamber pens himself, shuts up his windows, locks fair daylight out, and makes himself an artificial night. Black and portentous must this humor prove, unless good counsel may the cause remove. Benvolio, my noble uncle, do you know the cause? Montague, I neither know it nor can learn of him. Benvolio, have you importuned him by any means? Montague, both by myself and many other friends, but he, his own affection's counsellor, is to himself, I will not say how true. but to himself so secret and so close, so far from sounding and discovery, as is the bud-bit with an envious worm ere he can spread his sweet leaves to the air, or dedicate his beauty to the sun. Could we but learn from whence his sorrows grow, we would as willingly give cure as know. Enter Romeo. Be Benvolio. See where he comes, so please you step aside, I'll know his grievance, or be much denied. Montague. I would thou wert so happy by thy stay to hear true shrift. Come, madam, let's away, Benvolio. Good morrow, cousin, Romeo. Is the day so young, Benvolio? But new struck 9, Romeo. Ay me, sad hours seem long. Was that my father that went hence so fast? Benvolio, it was. What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours, Romeo, not having that which, having, makes them short, Benvolio. In love, Romeo, out, Benvolio. Of love, Romeo. Out of her favor where I am in love. Benvolio, alas, that love so gentle in his view should be so tyrannous and rough in proof. Romeo, alas, that love, whose view is muffled still, should, without eyes, see pathways to his will. Where shall we dine, O me? What fray was here? Yet tell me not, for I have heard it all. Here's much to do with hate, but more with love. Why then, O brawling love, O loving hate, O anything of nothing first create, O heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, still waking sleep that is not what it is. This love feel I, that feel no love in this. Dost thou not laugh, Benvolio? No cause, I rather weep. Romeo, good heart, at what? Benvolio, at thy good heart's oppression. Romeo, why such is love's transgression? Griefs of mine own lie heavy in my breast, which thou wilt propagate to have it pressed with more of thine. This love that thou hast shown doth add more grief to too much of mine own. Love is a smoke made with the fume of sighs, being purged, a fire sparkling in lovers' eyes, being vexed, a sea nourished with lovers' tears. What is it else? A madness most discreet, a choking gall, and a preserving sweet. Farewell, my cause. Going. Benvolio. Soft, I will go along, and if you leave me so, you do me wrong. Romeo. Tut! I have lost myself, I am not here. This is not Romeo, he's some other where. Benvolio. Tell me in sadness, who is that you love? Romeo. What, shall I groan and tell thee? Benvolio. Groan? Why no, but sadly tell me who. Romeo. Bid a sick man in sadness make his will. A word ill-urged to one that is so ill. In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman. Benvolio, I aimed so near when I supposed you loved. Romeo. A right good markman, and she's fair I love. Benvolio. A right fair mark, fair cause is soonest hit. Romeo. Well, and that hit you miss, she'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow, she hath Dian's wit, and in strong proof of chastity well armed, from love's weak childish bow she lives uncharmed. She will not stay the siege of loving terms, nor bide the encounter of assailing eyes, nor ope her lap to saints' seducing gold. Oh, she's rich in beauty, only poor, that when she dies, with beauty dies her store. Benvolio. Then she hath sworn that she will still live chaste? Romeo. She hath, and in that sparing makes huge waste, for beauty starved with her severity cuts beauty off from all posterity. She is too fair, too wise, wisely too fair, to merit bliss by making me despair. She hath forsworn to love, and in that vow Do I live dead that live to tell it now? Be ruled by me, forget to think of her. Romeo. Oh, teach me how I should forget to think, Benvolio. By giving liberty unto thine eyes, examine other beauties. Romeo. 'Tis the way to call hers, exquisite, in question more. These happy masks that kiss fair ladies' brows, being black, puts us in mind they hide the fair. He that is strucken blind cannot forget the precious treasure of his eyesight lost. Show me a mistress that is passing fair. What doth her beauty serve but as a note, where I may read who passed that passing fair? Farewell, thou canst not teach me to forget. Benvolio. I'll pay that doctrine, or else die in debt. Scene 2. A street. Enter Capulet, Paris, and servant. Capulet. But Montague is bound as well as I, in penalty alike, and 'tis not hard, I think, for men so old as we to keep the peace. Paris. Of honourable reckoning are you both, and pity 'tis you lived at odds so long. But now, my lord, what say you to my suit? Capulet. But saying o'er what I have said before, my child is yet a stranger in the world. She hath not seen the change of 14 years. Let 2 more summers wither in their pride, ere we may think her ripe to be a bride. Paris. Younger than she our happy mother's maid. Capulet. And too soon marred are those so early made. The earth hath swallowed all my hopes, but she is the hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her, gentle Paris, get her heart. My will to her consent is but a part, and she agree within her scope of choice, lies my consent and fair according voice. This night I hold an old accustomed feast, whereto I have invited many a guest, such as I love, and you among the store. One more, most welcome, makes my number more. At my poor house look to behold this night, earth-treading stars that make dark heaven light, such comfort as do lusty young men feel, when well-apparelled April on the heel of limping winter treads. Even such delight among fresh female buds shall you this night inherit at my house. Here all see, and like her most, whose merit most shall be, which, on more view of many, mine, being one, may stand in number, though in reckoning none. Come, go with me. Go, sirrah, trudge about. Through fair Verona find those persons out, whose names are written there. Gives a paper, and to them say, my house, and welcome on their pleasure stay. Servant. Find them out whose names are written here. It is written that the shoemaker should meddle with his yard, and the tailor with his last, the fisher with his pencil, and the painter with his nets. But I am sent to find those persons whose names are here writ, and can never find what names the writing person hath here writ. I must to the learned. In good time, enter Benvolio and Romeo. Benvolio. Tut, man, one fire burns out another's burning, one pain is lessened by another's anguish. Turn giddy and be hope by backward turning, one desperate grief cures with another's languish. Take thou some new infection to thy eye, and the rank poison of the old will die. Aro mio, your plantain leaf is excellent for that. Benvolio, for what, I pray thee? Romeo, for your broken shin. Benvolio, why, Romeo, art thou mad? Romeo, not mad, but bound more than a madman is, shut up in prison, kept without my food, whipped and tormented, and God-den good fellow. Servant, God gies go den, I pray, sir, can you read? Romeo, I, mine own fortune in my misery. Servant, perhaps you have learned it without book, but I pray, can you read anything you see? Romeo, I, if I know the letters and the language. Servant, ye say honestly, rest you merry. Romeo, stay, fellow, I can read. Signor Martino and his wife and daughters, County Anselmo and his beauteous sisters, the lady widow of Vitruvio, Signor Placentio and his lovely nieces, Mercutio and his brother Valentine, mine uncle Capulet, his wife and daughters, my fair niece Rosaline and Livia, Signor Valentio and his cousin Tybalt, Lucio and the lively Helena, or I mest, a fair assembly, gives back the paper. Whither should they come? Servant, up, Romeo. Whither to supper? Servant, to our house, Romeo. Whose house? Servant, my master's, Romeo. Indeed, I should have asked you that before. Servant, now I'll tell you without asking. My master is the great rich Capulet, and if you be not of the house of Montagues, I pray come and crush a cup of wine. Rest you merry. At this same ancient feast of Capulet's soups, the fair Rosaline, whom thou so lovest, with all the admired beauties of Verona. Go thither, and with unattainted eye compare her face with some that I shall show, and I will make thee think thy swan a crow. Ah, Romeo, when the devout religion of mine eye maintains such falsehood, then turn tears to fire, and these who, often drowned, could never die, transparent heretics, be burnt for liars. One fairer than my love, the all-seeing sun, ne'er saw her match since first the world begun. Benvolio. Tut, you saw her fair, none else being by, herself poised with herself in either eye, but in that crystal scales let there be weighed your lady's love against some other maid that I will show you shining at this feast, and she shall scant show well that now shows best. Romeo, I'll go along, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of my own. Juliet. Oh, swear not by the moon, thin constant moon, that monthly changes in her circled orb, lest that thy love prove likewise variable. Romeo. What shall I swear by? Juliet. Do not swear at all. Or if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the god of my idolatry, and I'll believe thee. Romeo. If my heart, dear love, Juliet. Well, do not swear. Although I joy in thee, I have no joy of this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning which doth cease to be ere one can say it lightens. Sweet good night. This bud of love, by summer's ripening breath, may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night, as sweet repose and rest come to thy heart as that within my breast, Romeo. Or wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied? Juliet, what satisfaction canst thou have tonight? Romeo, the exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine. Juliet, I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I would it were to give again. Romeo, wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love? Juliet, but to be frank and give it thee again. And yet I wish but for the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea, my love as deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. I hear some noise within. Dear love, adieu, nurse calls within. Anon, good nurse, Sweet Montague, be true, stay but a little, I will come again. Romeo. O blessed, blessed night, I am afeard, being a knight, all this is but a dream, too flattering sweet to be substantial. Enter Juliet above. Juliet. 3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If that thy bent of love be honourable, thy purpose marriage, send me word tomorrow by one that I'll procure to come to thee, where and what time thou wilt perform the rite, and all my fortunes at thy foot I'll lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world. Nursey. Madam, Juliet, I come anon, but if thou meanest not well, I do beseech thee. Nursey. Madam, Juliet, by and by I come, to cease thy strife, and leave me to my grief. Tomorrow will I send. Romeo. So thrive my soul, Juliet, 1,000 times good night. Romeo. 1,000 times the worse to want thy light. Love goes toward love as schoolboys from their books, but love from love toward school with heavy looks. Retiring slowly, re-entered Juliet above. Juliet hissed, Romeo hissed, oh, for a falconer's voice to lure this tassel gentle back again. Bondage is hoarse and may not speak aloud, else would I tear the cave where echo lies, and make her airy tongue more hoarse than mine with repetition of my Romeo's name. Romeo. It is my soul that calls upon my name. How silver-sweet sound, lovers' tongues by night, like softest music to attending ears. Juliet. Romeo. Romeo. My dear Juliet. What o'clock tomorrow shall I send to thee? Romeo. By the hour of 9. Juliet. I will not fail. 'Tis 20 years till then. I have forgot why I did call thee back. Romeo. Let me stand here till thou remember it. Juliet. I shall forget to have thee still stand there, remembering how I love thy company. Romeo. And I'll still stay to have thee still forget, forgetting any other home but this. Juliet. 'Tis almost morning, I would have thee gone, and yet no farther than a wanton's bird. That lets it hop a little from her hand, like a poor prisoner in his twisted gyves, and with a silk thread plucks it back again, so loving, jealous of his liberty. Romeo. I were thy bird. Juliet. Sweet, so would I, yet I should kill thee with much cherishing. Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till it be morrow. Sleep dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep and peace, so sweet to rest. Hence will I to my ghostly sire's cell, his help to crave, and my dear hap to tell. Scene 3. Room in Capulet's house. Enter Lady Capulet and nurse. Lady Capulet. Nurse, where's my daughter? Call her forth to me. Nurse. Now, by my maidenhead, a 12-year-old I bade her come. What, lamb? What, ladybird? God forbid. Where's this girl? What, Juliet? Enter Juliet. Juliet. How now? Who calls? Nursey. Your mother. Juliet. Madam, I am here. What is your will? This is the matter. Nurse, give leave awhile, we must talk in secret. Nurse, come back again, I have remembered me, thou's hear our counsel. Thou knowest my daughter's of a pretty age. Nursey, faith, I can tell her age unto an hour. Lady, Capulet, she's not 14, Nursey. I'll lay 14 of my teeth, and yet, to my teen be it spoken, I have but 4. She is not 14. How long is it now to Lammas tide? Lady Capulet, a fortnight and odd days. Nursey, even or odd of all days in the year, come Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age. Well, Susan is with God, she was too good for me. But as I said, on Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14, that shall she marry, I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years, and she was weaned, I never shall forget it, of all the days of the year upon that day, for I had then laid wormwood to my dug, sitting in the sun under the dove-house wall. My lord and you were then at Mantua, nay, I do bear a brain. But as I said, when it did taste the wormwood on the nipple of my dug and felt it bitter, pretty fool, to see it tetchy, and fall out with the dug. Shake, quoth the dove-house, 'twas no need, I trow, to bid me trudge. And since that time it is 11 years, for then she could stand alone, nay, by Thrude, she could have run and waddled all about, for even the day before she broke her brow, and then my husband, God be with his soul, was a merry man, took up the child. Yea, quoth he, dost thou fall upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou hast more wit, wilt thou not, Jule? And by my holidame the pretty wretch left crying, and said, Aye, to see now how a jest shall come about. I warrant, and I should live 1,000 years, I never should forget it. Wilt thou not, Jule? Quoth he. And, pretty fool, it stinted, and said, Aye. Lady Capulet, enough of this. I pray thee hold thy peace. Nurse. Yes, madam, yet I cannot choose but laugh, to think it should leave crying, and say, Aye, and yet I warrant it had upon it brow a bump as big as a young cockerel's stone, a perilous knock, and it cried bitterly. Yea, quoth my husband, fall'st upon thy face. Thou wilt fall backward when thou comest to age, wilt thou not, Jule? It stinted and said, Aye, Juliet. And stint thou too, I pray thee, nurse, say I. Nursey, peace, I have done. God mark thee to his grace. Thou wast the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed, and I might live to see thee married once. I have my wish. Lady Capulet. Marry, that marry is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married? Juliet. It is an honor that I dream not of, Nursey. An honor. Were not I thine only nurse, I would say thou hadst sucked wisdom from thy teat. Lady Capulet. Well, think of marriage now, younger than you. Here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already mothers. By my count, I was your mother much upon these years, that you are now a maid. Thus, then, in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love. And you are, see, a man, young lady, such a man, as all the world, why, he's a man of wax. Lady Capulet. Verona's summer hath not such a flower. Nor, see, nay, he's a flower, in faith, a very flower. Lady Capulet. What say you, can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read o'er the volume of young Paris's face, and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every married lineament, and see how one another lends content, and what obscured in this fair volume lies, find written in the margent of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him, only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride for fair without the fair within to hide. That book in many's eyes doth share the glory, that in gold clasps locks in the golden story. So shall you share all that he doth possess, by having him, making yourself no less. Turty, no less, nay bigger. Women grow by men. Lad Capulet, speak briefly, can you like of Paris's love, Juliet? I'll look to like, if looking liking move, but no more deep will I endart mine eye than your consent gives strength to make it fly. Enter a servant. Servant. Madam, the guests are come. Supper served up, you called, my young lady asked for. The nurse cursed in the pantry, and everything in extremity. I must hence to wait, I beseech you, follow straight. Lady, Capulet, we follow thee. Juliet, the county stays. Nursey, go girl, seek happy nights to happy days. Frir Lawrence, hold thy desperate hand. Art thou a man? Thy form cries out, thou art. Thy tears are womanish, thy wild acts denote the unreasonable fury of a beast. Unseemly woman in a seeming man, and ill-beseeming beast in seeming both. Thou hast amazed me. By my holy order, I thought thy disposition better tempered. Hast thou slain Tybalt? Wilt thou slay thyself, and slay thy lady that in thy life lives, by doing damned hate upon myself? Why railst thou on thy birth, the heaven and earth? Since birth and heaven and earth, all three do meet in thee at once, which thou at once wouldst lose. Fie, fie, thou sham'st thy shape, thy love, thy wit, which, like a usurer, abound'st in all, and usest none in that true use, indeed, which should bedeck thy shape, thy love, thy wit. Thy noble shape is but a form of wax, digressing from the valor of a man, thy dear love sworn but hollow perjury, killing that love which thou hast vowed to cherish, thy wit, that ornament to shape and love, misshapen in the conduct of them both, like powder in a skilless soldier's flask, is set afire by thine own ignorance, and thou dismembered with thine own defense. What? Rouse thee, man. Thy Juliet is alive, for whose dear sake thou wast but lately dead. There art thou happy. Tybalt would kill thee, but thou slewst Tybalt. There art thou happy. The law that threatened death becomes thy friend, and turns it to exile. There art thou happy. A pack of blessings light upon thy back. Happiness courts thee in her best array, but like a misshaped and sullen wench, thou putt'st up thy fortune and thy love. Take heed, for such die miserable. Go, get thee to thy love as was decreed, ascend her chamber hence and comfort her. But look thou stay not till the watch be set, for then thou canst not pass to Mantua, where thou shalt live till we can find a time to blaze your marriage, reconcile your friends, beg pardon of the prince, and call thee back with 20,000 times more joy than thou wentst forth in lamentation. Go before, nurse, commend me to thy lady, and bid her hasten all the house to bed, which heavy sorrow makes them apt unto. Romeo is coming. Nursey. O Lord, I could have stayed here all the night to hear good counsel. Oh, what learning is! My lord, I'll tell my lady you will come. Romeo, do so, and bid my sweet prepare to chide. Nursey. Here, sir, a ring she bid me give you, sir. Hie you, make haste, for it grows very late. Romeo. How well my comfort is revived by this. Frir Lawrence. Go hence, good night, and here stands all your state, either be gone before the watch be set, or by the break of day disguised from hence. I'll find out your man, and he shall signify from time to time every good hap to you that chances here. Give me thy hand, 'tis late, farewell, good night. Ah, Romeo, but that a joy past joy calls out on me, it were a grief so brief to part with thee. Farewell, the ground is bloody. Search about the churchyard, go, some of you, whoe'er you find attach, pitiful sight. Here lies the county slain, and Juliet bleeding warm and newly dead, who here hath lain this 2 days buried. Go tell the prince, run to the Capulets, raise up the Montagues, some others search. We see the ground whereon these woes do lie, but the true ground of all these piteous woes we cannot without circumstance descry. Re-enter some of the watch with Balthasar. Here's Romeo's man. We found him in the churchyard. Hold him in safety till the prince come hither. Re-enter others of the watch with Friar Lawrence. We took this mattock and this spade from him as he was coming from this churchyard side. A great suspicion. Stay the friar too. Enter the prince in attendance. Prince, what misadventure is so early up that calls our person from our morning's rest? Enter Capulet, Lady Capulet, and others. Capulet, what should it be that they so shriek abroad? Lady Capulet. Oh, the people in the street cry, Romeo, some Juliet, and some Paris, and all run with open outcry toward our monument. What fear is this which startles in our ears? Sovereign, here lies the county Paris slain, and Romeo dead, and Juliet dead before, warm and new killed. Prince, search, seek, and know how this foul murder comes. Here is a friar and slaughtered Romeo's man, with instruments upon them fit to open these dead men's tombs. See, Capulet. O heaven, O wife, look how our daughter bleeds. This dagger hath misdone, for lo, his house is empty on the back of Montague, and it missheathed in my daughter's bosom. Lady Capulet, O me! This sight of death is as a bell that warns my old age to a sepulchre. Enter Montague and others. Prince, come, Montague, for thou art early up to see thy son and heir more early down. Montague. Alas, my liege, my wife is dead tonight. Grief of my son's exile hath stopped her breath. What further woe conspires against mine age, Prince? Look, and thou shalt see. Montague, O thou untaught, what manners is in this to press before thy father to a grave? Prince, seal up the mouth of outrage for a while, till we can clear these ambiguities, and know their spring, their head, their true descent, and then will I be general of your woes, and lead you even to death. Meantime forbear, and let mischance be slave to patience. Bring forth the parties of suspicion. Friar Lawrence. I am the greatest, able to do least, yet most suspected, as the time and place doth make against me of this direful murder. And here I stand, both to impeach and purge myself condemned, and myself excused. Prince, then say at once what thou dost know in this. Friar Lawrence. I will be brief, for my short date of breath is not so long as is a tedious tale. Romeo there dead was husband to that Juliet, and she there dead that Romeo's faithful wife. I married them, and their stolen marriage day was Tybalt's doomsday, whose untimely death banished the new-made bridegroom from this city, for whom, and not for Tybalt, Juliet pinned. You, to remove that siege of grief from her betrothed, and would have married her perforce to County Paris. Then comes she to me, and with wild looks bid me devise some means to rid her from this second marriage, or in my cell there would she kill herself. Then gave I her, so tutored by my art, a sleeping potion, which so took effect as I intended, for it wrought on her the form of death. Meantime I writ to Romeo that he should hither come as this dire night, to help to take her from her borrowed grave, being the time the potion's force should cease. But he which bore my letter, Friar John, was stayed by accident, and yesternight returned my letter back. Then all alone, at the prefixed hour of her waking, came I to take her from her kindred's vault, meaning to keep her closely at my cell, till I conveniently could send to Romeo. But when I came, some minute ere the time of her awaking, here untimely lay the noble Paris and true Romeo dead. She wakes, and I entreated her come forth, and bear this work of heaven with patience. But then a noise did scare me from the tomb, and she, too desperate, would not go with me, but, as it seems, did violence on herself. All this I know, and to the marriage her nurse is privy. And if aught in this miscarried by my fault, let my old life be sacrificed, some hour before his time, unto the rigor of severest law. Prince, we still have known thee for a holy man. Where's Romeo's man? What can he say to this? Balthazar. I brought my master news of Juliet's death, and then in post he came from Mantua, to this same place, to this same monument. This letter he early bid me give his father, and threatened me with death, going in the vault if I departed not and left him there. Prince, give me the letter, I will look on it. Where is the county's page that raised the watch? Sirrah, what made your master in this place? Page. He came with flowers to strew his lady's grave, and bid me stand aloof, and so I did. Anon comes one with light to ope the tomb, and by my master drew on him, and then I ran away to call the watch. Prince, this letter doth make good the friar's words, their course of love, the tidings of her death. And here he writes that he did buy a poison of a poor apothecary, and therewithal came to this vault to die, and lie with Juliet. Where be these enemies? Capulet, Montague, see what a scourge is laid upon your hate, that heaven finds means to kill your joys with love. And I, for winking at your discords, too, have lost a brace of kinsmen. All are punished. Capulet, O brother Montague, give me thy hand. This is my daughter's jointure, for no more can I demand. Montague, but I can give thee more, for I will raise her statue in pure gold, that whiles Verona by that name is known, there shall no figure at such rate be set as that of true and faithful Juliet. Couplet. As rich shall Romeo's by his ladies lie, poor sacrifices of our enmity. Prince. A glooming peace this morning with it brings, the sun for sorrow will not show his head. Go hence to have more talk of these sad things. Some shall be pardoned and some punished, for never was a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo. Scene 4. A street. Enter Romeo, Mercutio, Benvolio, with 5 or 6 maskers, torchbearers, and others. Romeo. What? Shall this speech be spoke for our excuse, or shall we on without apology? Benvolio. The date is out of such prolixity will have no Cupid hoodwinked with a scarf, bearing a Tartar's painted bow of lath, scaring the ladies like a crow-keeper. Nor no without. Book prologue, faintly spoke. After the prompter for our entrance, but let them measure us by what they will, we'll measure them a measure, and be gone. Romeo. Give me a torch, I am not for this ambling. Being but heavy, I will bear the light. Mercutio. Nay, gentle Romeo, we must have you dance. Romeo. Not I. Believe me, you have dancing shoes. With nimble soles I have a soul of lead, so stakes me to the ground I cannot move. Mercutio. You are a lover, borrow Cupid's wings, and soar with them above a common bound. Romeo. I am too sore and pierced with his shaft, to soar with his light feathers, and so bound I cannot bound a pitch above dull woe. Under love's heavy burden do I sink. Mercutio. And, to sink in it, should you burden love, too great oppression for a tender thing. Mercutio. If love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for pricking, and you beat love down. Give me a case to put my visage in, putting on a mask. A visor for a visor. What care I, what curious eye doth quote deformities? Here are the beetle brows shall blush for me. Benvolio. Come, knock and enter, and no sooner in, but every man betake him to his legs. Horror mio. A torch for me let wantons light of heart, tickle the senseless rushes with their heels, for I am proverbed with a grandsire phrase, I'll be a candle holder and look on, the game was ne'er so fair, and I am done. Mercutio. Tut, done's the mouse, the constable's own word. If thou art done, we'll draw thee from the mire, or save your reverence love, wherein thou stickest up to the ears. Come, we burn daylight, ho! Oro mio. Nay, that's not so. Mercutio. I mean, sir, in delay. We waste our lights in vain, light lights by day. Take our good meaning, for our judgment sits 5 times in that ear once in our 5 wits. And we mean well in going to this mask. But 'tis no wit to go. Mercutio. Why, may one ask, Romeo? I dreamt a dream tonight. Mercutio. And so did I. Romeo. Well, what was yours? Mercutio. That dreamers often lie, Romeo. In bed asleep, while they do dream things true. Mercutio. Oh then, I see Queen Mab hath been with you.